Hey, what's going on, guys? Corey from Lion Dads back with another video for you. Today we're going to be talking about how to master your weight loss using good habits, creating good habits, creating consistency in your life, and habits that you can continue throughout, in the long run. But before we get started on that, I want you guys to go to www.lion-dads.com and get your free guide on getting started with the carnivore diet. It's got everything you need in there to start losing weight, to get yourselves in the store. It's got a shopping list, buy all the foods you need to get your low-carb, animal-based diet started and start losing weight today. So now on to the video. So basically today I wanted to take a minute and talk to you guys about the importance of creating good habits, especially when it pertains to getting healthy, getting strong, getting fit, and losing weight. I think when you think about how you got to the point you're at, if you're out of shape like I was for a long time, you didn't get there because you were doing the right things all the time, right? You got to that point because you had bad habits. You developed bad habits. Maybe you were ignorant to the things that you need to get yourself in shape and stay that way, that kind of stuff. And you just had bad habits. Maybe you're drinking a lot of alcohol, you're eating a lot of fast food, processed foods. These are things I was doing. And then when I finally said enough is enough and found a carnivore diet and found the one thing that I could do and stick to that worked long term, that I found sustainable and was able to make me look my best, feel my best, and everything. That's when I started creating those good habits and that I know that I can carry with me for the rest of my life, right? So that's what's really the most important thing, and that's whether you're on a carnivore diet or anything else. I know not everybody is going to be on one or be drawn to this diet and find it and be able to stick to it, but having that consistency and having discipline, finding what works best for you, those are the things that I advocate the most, that are most important. It's just what works best for me and for a lot of guys that I know is a carnivore diet. So that's why I kind of preach about one, or not preach, but recommend it or advocate for it and kind of talk and share my experiences with it. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about today, is developing those good habits and getting yourself to a point where you can be consistent and follow something sustainable that I think that hopefully can work for you forever. So let's just talk about the power of being consistent, right? The power of having discipline, the power of creating these good habits. When it came to me achieving my weight loss goals, the biggest thing that I had to do was formulate a plan and basically be consistent. Like I said, I came to this, I was fat, I was out of shape, I was damn near 300 pounds and just feeling like shit all the time. I wasn't at a good place. It was affecting my whole life. So got to a point where I had to come up with a new plan, come up with something that I could sustain and be consistent with, and come up with a routine and stick to it, even though, there were challenges. And I found if I just eliminated the stuff that was kind of keeping me in the shape I was in, because I got a sweet tooth like anybody else. I love my, fried breaded shit, and I love alcohol, and I love all that kind of stuff. And those are the things that were just not working for me, that were counterintuitive, counterproductive to my health. So I had to eliminate those things from my diet. And the carnivore diet is what allowed that to happen. And that allowed me to stay disciplined and stay consistent because I just eliminated all those other foods. I stuck to one certain type of food, and I was able to sustain that and stick to it by just not having that stuff around, not going looking for it and not having it. So that was a strategy I kind of employed, and so many people that I work with and talk to that are seeing great success is they've been able to find a way using a carnivore diet to be consistent and stick to it by just eliminating those processed crappy foods. So that's basically the most important thing, and that's whether you're on a carnivore diet or not. Find the thing that works, that you can do, that you enjoy, and stick to it. Luckily, I enjoy meat so much that I just, it was 90% of my diet anyway. That's what I like to eat. So I just eliminated that 10, 15%, whatever it was that was holding me back and off to the races. So do those things that create good habits that make you consistent and make it sustainable for you. And then you can build from there, doing things like preparing and meal planning and things like that. So another thing I want to talk to you guys about, especially as it pertains to like a carnivore diet specifically, but you can use this for any kind of diet you're on, is you need to take whatever you're going to try and tailor it to your needs, or tailor it to a way that works best for you, while keeping in mind, that you're doing this for your health and you're doing it for, your long-term, success and longevity and muscle building and fat loss and things like that. So it doesn't mean like, okay, I'm going to do a half-assed carnivore diet and still use food as entertainment and do all that kind of shit. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not advocating for you to have the most lax diet in the world that just keeps you where you're at now and say, hey, this works for me. Of course it does, because you're enjoying it and you're using food as entertainment, and that's the mindset that I've been trying to get you guys away from. But still, like doing a strict beef and salt diet works for some people, right? It doesn't work for everybody. It certainly doesn't work for me, not long term. I might give it a shot, like if I need to get past a sticking point or get to a certain goal, I might use it short term, but it just doesn't work for me long term. You know what I mean? I am a little more lax with my diet. I'd say about 80 to 85% of the year, where I'm kind of, I'm using like sweeteners and maybe drinking some diet sodas and things like that. That I know a lot of you, if you're more militant side of it or, strict side of it, you'll clutch your pearls and click off my channel and unsubscribe and talk shit about me. That's totally fine. But, that works for me and it keeps me losing weight. I've kind of got myself back tightening things up this month, and just this month, I'm back down another 10 pounds, because we're getting close where summer's going to be hitting before you know it, and I want to look good for that. I took some time over the winter to, maybe enjoy myself a little more, not worry about calories, not worry about things like that. I started getting a little more consistent, a little more, strict with myself, and I've started tracking again and things like that, because those things do matter. Your calories matter, your things like that matter, your protein matters. And then, I've started tracking all that stuff again, and I'm starting to tighten things up and seeing good results, and I'll continue that all, through the summer and probably through the year. But you got to experiment with different things that you want to try that you think can work for you, and see how they work. And what I mean with that is, don't see how they work from a sense of, oh, I like this and I'm going to do it this way, because that may not be the best thing for you, but like, okay, this works, I can do it, and I see good results, I feel better. You got to look at the big picture, and you got to look at everything. Are you seeing fat loss? Are you seeing weight loss? Are you seeing skin conditions clear up? Are you seeing, acid reflux or indigestion, things like that going away? Are you seeing yourself building muscle? Are you seeing actual fat loss? If you're seeing all these things and they're working and you feel good, then that is probably going to be sustainable for you and you can keep it up. And then when things quit working, you just have to run experiments on yourself a little bit. Things I do recommend. A lot of people come to this because they don't want to track calories, and I think, if you do it a certain way, you really don't need to. I typically normally don't, but if I want to be like perfect or really hit like a certain goal, it's something I do implement. But I implement different things that help me along the way kind of stay in control without having to, use an app or whatever. I use some fasting and things like that in there. Definitely prioritizing protein. That's a thing that I think so many people don't do, or they don't realize how actual little protein they're eating. And I recommend, the standard a gram per pound of body weight, or at least what your goal body weight is. Like, so if you're a 300 pound guy and you got 100 and some pounds to lose, you can eat 200 plus grams of protein and you'll be fine. If you're, 150 pound guy and you're in pretty good shape, then keep that 150 pounds or 150 grams of protein. Go a little higher if you need to, or whatever. Figure out what your calories are. I think, a good rule of thumb, if you want to just kind of get an idea of what like a maintenance calorie would be, I think it's like your body weight times 15. and that's about what you want to be eating a day if you want to maintain where you're at. And then you want to lose, you can go like your body weight times 12, your body weight times 10 if you have a hell of a lot to lose. These are different little tricks and easy ways you can do it without having to worry about using an app so much. But just keep in mind, as humans, we are absolutely fucking horrible at eyeballing our portions and eyeballing our calories and things like that. It's something that we are terrible at. Absolutely terrible at. It's not sustainable. It typically doesn't work for most people. There are exceptions to every rule. But I know I've tried eyeballing things and stuff like that when I wasn't on a carnivore diet, and I was awful at it, and I just got fat. So you don't really know what goes into everything. That's why I recommend keeping in control of your own food, not eating out so much, preparing your own stuff, reading the ingredients, using a food scale, things like that. These are good habits to get into. Going back to those habits again. Once you get, at first maybe some of these things can be viewed as a pain in the ass, but once you've been doing them, they're just a part of my life now. I use a food scale daily. Part of the year use a calorie tracking app. It's a goal of mine to use one full time, and that's my choice. Not everybody wants to do that. Totally fine. But, get in the build habits of preparing your meals, using a food scale, figuring out what your protein needs to be, tracking those calories if you need to, doing some fasting. These are all habits that are going to help you in the long run. Find what works for you. Find the way to make this work, whatever diet you're on, whether it's a carnivore diet or something else, and figure out a way to make it work and have success in the long term. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is just kind of like the trial and error aspect of it. I think we all have an idea of, okay, here, and this is certainly totally fair to say, but like most people, we just want it all planned and mapped out for us, right? Like, okay, here's the plan, here's the guide, here's what you need to do, go forth and lose weight. And the problem with that is you just have a one size fits all, plan of action for the way people eat and stuff. It's typically not going to work because we're not all the same. All of our bodies are different. We all have different things that make us tick, different problems and ailments and health issues and things we're allergic to and things that kind of cause us to break out, autoimmune stuff, all that kind of stuff. There's no two people walking around that are the same, right? We have different metabolic, rates and all this kind of different stuff. Shapes, sizes, the whole deal, goals. Everybody's different. So it's not like you can cut out a one size fits all plan and say this is what's going to work. Even in my coaching program, I have to sit with you for, at least one session and take a lot of notes and sit and build and then ask you questions and things like that. You know what I mean? It's not like I just sit here and say, all right, welcome to my program, do this and you will lose weight. It's not that easy. I have to sit with people and get details on them and ask questions and learn everything about them to where I can help them along the way and find out what their goals are and what we can do to make it work, where they've been and where they want to go. So you need to kind of learn to embrace that experimentation period. That it may be frustrating, it may be uncomfortable, but I think, we live in an instant gratification society now where we want it all now, boom, boom, boom. And that's not really the way it actually works. So you kind of have to sit and say, eat something, oh, that caused me to bloat, it caused me to feel like shit, whatever it is, and that's not going to work for me. Or, oh, that works great, I'm going to keep doing that. So that's just one thing I do want to highlight is the importance of being patient and persistent, and you got to refine your habits over time. I'm still learning things. We're getting almost 5 years into this for me, and I'm still learning things. I'm still finding oh man, I've gained 10 pounds out of nowhere. What did that? What have I changed, or what isn't working anymore? As I get older, I started this in my 30s. I'm into my 40s now, and it's okay, this isn't working anymore. I need to find something else that works now. So that's kind of just a couple things that I want to highlight for you guys. Is that you're gonna have to always probably do some kind of trial and error, no matter what kind of diet you're on. Nothing's really a magic pill, right? So just keep working at it and don't let yourself get too frustrated where you just want to give up. That's the problem. Stay consistent, stick to your good habits, refine and improvise, and just go from there. But really what I want you guys to focus on is focusing on those sustainable habits. I don't want you guys to look at it as like I need these short-term results. A lot of us set goals like I want to be ready for the beach, I need to be ready for a wedding, or this, that, or the other. The thing you got to keep in front of you is your whole life. You got your whole life in front of you. I don't care if you're like 20 years old or you're 80 years old. Keep your whole life in front of you. Keep thinking about what you're doing today and how that's going to affect you in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You know what I mean? And how you're going to stay consistent and stay better in the long term. Extend your life, live with the comfort, and there's nothing worse than walking around feeling like shit for the rest of your life. You might as well do everything you can to get to where you're feeling good again and live that way forever. So that's what I want you guys to think about, is sticking to the long-term goals, the long-term success. Think about that stuff and celebrate your progress. Celebrate your successes, celebrate your milestones. And I'm not saying celebrate by going out and buying yourself a fucking cake when you lost 20, 30 pounds. I'm saying, pat yourself on the back a little bit, share your success and share your progress with others. Don't be scared to. Don't be, creating a cult-like mentality, but, be proud of where you've been and where you came from and where you're at now, versus then. You need to be thinking about that kind of stuff like, man, I've really done well for myself. And then you can share your journey with others, because other people will ask when they see where you came from to where you're at. So that's basically what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, is coming up with plans, coming up with goals, sticking to them, sticking to your success, creating these good habits. Just strategize, and it's always you're always a work in progress. You're never going to be perfect. You got to kind of embrace that whole aspect of it, where you've got to keep working. And that's basically all I got for you guys today. Keep working hard. Go to lion-dads.com, link in the description. Get your guide on getting started with the carnivore diet. Get your shopping list, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.